Today's video, we're taking a look at insurance applications and decisions from the underwriters that you perhaps didn't expect. With all the applications that we submit, it's super uncommon for an application to come back from the insurers or from the underwriters without any varied terms, being loadings, exclusions, those sorts of things. About 9 in 10 cases that we see will come back with some variation. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps that you can take to ensure that you get the best outcome from the underwriters and put the power back to you to make sure that you're not accepting the first offer. Stay tuned to find out more. Hi there, it's Craig Bigelow, the founder and head insurance expert here at True Pride. I bring out videos like this on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday, all around insurance to try and help make this easy for you. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. So you've made the decision to submit your insurance application, you've gone through the application steps, completed the questions that the insurance company's answered you. Perhaps you've even had medical tests, further evidence provided, all those sorts of things. And now the insurance companies come back to you with variations on the terms that they're offering for your policy. Not only can this be really frustrating given the fact that you've gone through so much effort to get to this point, it can also make a massive impact on your ability to claim on an insurance policy in the future. So it's really important to understand the terms and what they actually mean to you and your ability to claim in the future. About 90% of all applications that come back from the insurance companies have revised terms. So what I'm going to do today is just walk you through and give you some information and advice around how you can handle this to make sure that you get the outcome that you deserve. The most common revised terms that I see are either an exclusion for pre-existing medical conditions. So these sorts of things include a mental health exclusion, which is really common, a back or neck exclusion, again, really common. The first thing that I do as an advisor when we get these revised terms is give the insurance company a call to understand exactly their position on why they've come back to you with the decision that they've made. The next thing that I'd like to understand is, from the insurance company's perspective, what does this actually need to look like to have this loading, exclusion or varied terms removed from your policy, whether that be now or in the future? The important part about this is that getting this true understanding of where the insurance company is coming from before giving you a buzz allows me to understand the exact information that I need to know from you to take back to them so that we can negotiate this position. My first bit of advice to you is that don't take this initial offer as the final stance from the insurance company. So this is just the first offer and it's the start of the negotiation. I realise that this can come as a bit of a shock, so completely understand where you're coming from on that one. But what this needs to be is a pragmatic approach to getting an outcome that's better than what the first offer has come back to you from the insurance company. Secondly, once you've taken on that initial feedback, my suggestion is that the person that you're working with, and what I would do, is call and make sure that all the different insurance companies are offering a really similar offer or have a similar position as the outcome that you've received. Now, this isn't going to be a final decision from each of these different insurance companies, but you will gauge a pretty good understanding of whether the decision that you've received is different or similar to what the other insurance companies are willing to offer. I had a client reach out to me this week who'd received an offer from their industry super fund that wasn't what they'd liked. They received a back exclusion for a condition that wasn't that severe. But given the fact that this was done directly by them, they didn't know the steps that they could take to make sure that this decision was at least looked at further before accepting the conditions and putting their policy into place. This is where an advisor earns their money. So for me, this is a massive point where we step in and take control of this situation. We do all the legwork and come back to you, keep you posted, and make sure that you understand where things are up to with regards to this redecision or reassessment of your case and how we can perhaps work together with the insurance company and you to get an outcome that's different from their first offer. Worst case scenario, what I'd like to do, if the decision stands, it stacks up with the rest of the market, what I'd like to know is when this can be reviewed and what needs to transpire or what needs to have not transpired between now and then to make sure that we can have this decision reviewed. Unfortunately, the fact of the matter is that as insurance advisors, we typically don't get paid until the insurance policies get accepted. So if you feel that you're being pushed into a decision by your advisor, I'd suggest that you ask them the reason why they believe that the decision that you've been given from the insurance company stacked up and what work they've done to prove that to you. So for me, again, that comes down to the legwork, showing that it stacks up with the insurance companies in the market and that the decision that you've received from the insurance company that you've applied for for is the same or similar to what you'd get if you went elsewhere. For me, I often find that this decision can come as a bit of a shock, and you get shitty with the insurance companies for the decision that they've come up with. So often a brick wall goes up and you start to reject the fact that you need the insurance cover in the first place. My suggestion is that if these exclusions or loadings or those sorts of things have come about, they're typically for things that you've actually known about or you've sought treatment for. So in most cases, the thing that they've actually excluded has a less or lower likelihood of happening to you now that you're addressing those problems than they would have if they were left undone. I know this has a counterintuitive sort of nature to the argument, being the fact that if you hadn't have gone to the doctor or if you hadn't have followed the treatment for this, they wouldn't even know about it, and you're right. But the fact of the matter is that they have, and they do. So there's not much we can do about it to change what's happened in the past. We can only look at it from the perspective of what is the likelihood of that chance of a claim, and being comfortable with the decision you make, whether to proceed with the application or not proceed with the application itself. As you could imagine, with limited space on insurance applications, it can be often difficult to give the full picture of what's happened in your past medical history. So sometimes all it takes is a little bit more effort on our behalf to make sure the information that you have gets recorded accurately with the insurance company. That may mean doing some follow-up tests, going and doing those sorts of things, but it can be completely worth it if you get the outcome that you want. The other thing to note here is that a good advisor is on your side and they do want the best thing for you. So if you don't feel that that's the case and you feel that you're being pushed into a decision, just don't go ahead with the application is my suggestion. There are plenty of advisors out there that are really good and genuinely have your best interests at heart. So find one that you feel is fighting the fight for you. If you've applied for insurance and got an outcome that you weren't happy with, I'd love you to let me know in the comments or message me privately. I'd love to have a look at this for you and see if there's some way that we can help. Also, if you have an exclusion or a loading on your policy and you don't know the exact date that this can be reviewed, make sure that you contact your insurance company provider today and ask for that date. Put it in your diary and make sure that you do follow this up and make sure you follow the steps needed to remove that exclusion, because it will make a massive difference to your ability to claim in the future.